Today in the Paddock, we'll take a look at ABAC's Evening for ABAC Scholarship Fundraiser, ABAC Day at the Capitol, and the Collegiate FFA Car Show. Hello, and welcome to the Paddock. I'm Ashlyn Thompson. On March 4th, 2026, the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced the start of its dietary guidelines for American strategic partnerships, encouraging retailers, farmers, health professionals, and other organizations to help educate the public about healthier eating habits. The U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, said the Make America Healthy Again movement is bringing together farmers, retailers, medical professionals, and the media to promote healthier families and communities. In the House Ag Committee, the push to get a 5-year farm bill has been renewed. Chairman G.T. Thompson released language with the House Ag Committee to begin markups. Many producers believe the farm bill still has some important aspects to be reformed, including credits and farm loan limits. With an updated bill, ag commodity associations are looking for more certainty and national assistance for producers. ABAC continues to strengthen its connections with ABAC alumni and supporters through events that directly benefit our students. Evening for ABAC is one of the college's top scholarship fundraising events, with this year breaking records. This year's theme, The Luck of the Stallion, brought together alumni, community leaders, and friends of the college for a night dedicated to investing in the future of ABAC students. Funds raised during the evening go towards foundation scholarships, providing more educational opportunities for current and upcoming students. Evening for ABAC continues to make a lasting impact on students across campus.
This year, we raised the most money ever to go towards student scholarships. We had over $140,000 net that we raised for student scholarships that will be given out for next year, 2026 to 2027.
The ABAC ambassadors and some students traveled to Atlanta this week for ABAC Day at the Capitol. This gave students the opportunity to meet with legislators, advocate for the college, and share the impact ABAC has had on their lives. With more, here's from our Hadley Saxton.
This past week, ABAC students visited the Georgia State Capitol in Atlanta.
It's ABAC Day at the Capitol. We're very excited. We do this every year. It's an opportunity for us to come and be able to see what happens under the Gold Dome. It's an opportunity for us to bring our students, our members of our alumni board, members of our foundation board, and we come up to the Capitol. We were able to meet the governor and today the First Lady, have a picture with them to commemorate and memorialize our visit. And we get to take some of our students out on the House floor and really understand the process of how a bill comes into to play, into action, into law, and understand the whole process.
For ABAC students, the day provides a behind-the-scenes look at how government works while also giving them the opportunity to represent ABAC at the state level.
Today, personally, I've been able to make so many connections I didn't realize I'd be able to make. I came here as an ambassador, but I was able to see my hometown representative from Pike County. I was able to see a couple other people from my hometown that also work here at the Capitol. This really opened up a lot of different doors and opportunities for me that even just attending and being a representative of ABAC, that students wouldn't be able to get just not joining clubs or anything like that.
For ABAC ambassadors, the trip highlights the importance of campus involvement and leadership.
I think there is a lot of miscommunication about what ABAC is. When I was a senior in high school, my high school tried to tell me that ABAC was a 2-year school. I graduated in 2022 and they became a 4-year school in 2008. So I truly think there's a lot of miscommunication about what ABAC is and what we stand for, our mission, our vision. So it's important for students like us to come out, advocate, promote, really just talk about and network with everybody else what ABAC is and the importance of what we're teaching our students at ABAC, and to show that we're just really, truly good students that want to change the world.
Through advocacy and networking, ABAC students help share the college's mission and highlights the impact the institution continues to make across Georgia.
So it's a busy day It's an educational day. It's one that we really look forward to, and I know our mascots are here, and it gives everybody an opportunity to kind of understand who ABAC is and what happens here under the Gold Dome during the legislative session.
I'm Amy Herring with your weather outlook for the Southeast and across the country. Georgia and many of the surrounding states continue to experience severe to extreme drought conditions. Dry weather over the past month has significantly reduced soil moisture, specifically within the top 1 meter of soil. These low moisture levels are creating challenges for farmers across the Southeast. As we move into March, the temperature outlook shows a 60 to 80% chance of above normal temperatures across the Southeast. Warmer than average conditions can increase evaporation, which may lead to even drier soil levels. Looking at the precipitation outlook, South Georgia and Florida are leaning to a 33 to 40% below average rainfall, meaning drought conditions could possibly intensify within the area. Meanwhile, other parts of the Southeast have a 40 to 70% chance of above average precipitation, which may bring relief to farmers in the area. Nationally, drought remains a widespread concern impacting multiple agricultural regions. With warmer temperatures and uneven precipitation patterns ahead, producers are encouraged to monitor soil moisture closely, adjust irrigation where needed, and plan for continued dry conditions. That's your weather outlook. In the Paddock, I'm Amy Herring.
The Collegiate FFA Alumni Chapter hosted its first ever car show on February 28th. The event brought together students, community members, and car enthusiasts to support the CFFA chapter and raise funds for future activities. Entries were $20 per vehicle, and volunteers arrived early in the morning to help with parking, concessions, photography, and event setup. Our Daniel Durance was at the event.
Classic trucks, restored muscle cars, and awesome builds recently filled the campus of Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College for a community car show. While many came to admire the craftsmanship, several of the vehicles on display carried stories that go far beyond horsepower. One of the most unique vehicles at this show was a 1959 Cadillac convertible owned by Mr. Brian Irwin. The car once hung on the side of the Hard Rock Cafe in Atlanta as part of the restaurant's famous music and memorabilia displays.
I was on the Atlanta Hard Rock for 22 years, and I knew the owner of the location and just came about, and I was able to purchase it, and it took me 5 years to get it to where you see it today, and a lot of time, labor, of love for sure.
Restoring the Cadillac required tracking down rare parts from across the country.
These cars are they're real unique, and they didn't make many of them, and there's no reproduction parts to be had, and if you don't find a original car somewhere, you're not going to find it. This thing has parts on it from California, New York, all over the place, trying to piece it back together.
But for Irwin, the car has become more than just a restoration project.
There's no price tag you could put on it, really. It's a piece of the family now. My kids, I've got pictures of my kids standing on parts and working on it, and all of them helped work on it, and it's just one of those things I'll probably always hold on to. My daughter would probably be driving it ABAC right now if I let her.
Another vehicle at the show also carried a strong family story. ABAC senior Gil Johnson brought a 1992 Ford F-250, a truck that originally belonged to his grandfather.
This is my granddad's truck, and I remember riding around in this truck as a kid, and so to work on this truck and gain these skills to work on vehicles has really been a blessing, and to see it here now, and I've even driven my grandpa around in it, and it just really means a lot because of how long it's been in our family.
Johnson says restoring the truck has taught him more than just mechanical skills.
If you want to, start learning skills, just get your hands dirty, get in there and get going. And one thing that you'll really learn is patience. That's a big thing that I've learned on this truck.
The show also featured a restored 1968 Camaro owned by Randy Bloodworth, a car that originally belonged to his brother.
Well, it's a 1968 Camaro. It was my brother's car. He bought it new.
Bloodworth says that his brother never was quite satisfied with the stock configuration of his Camaro. He always wanted just a little bit more American muscle.
He wanted to pull it all the way down, so we pulled the motor transmission, tore it all the way down. and it sit like that from 1982 to 2022.
Sadly, his brother never did get to see his vision come to life.
He expired before he got to do what he wanted to do to it. So I ended up with the car, and I told my wife that I was going to try to fix it back, you know, just like he would have done it. So it's pretty much what we did.
I can't express enough the passion shown in each and every detail of all the cars at ABAC here today.
It was a pretty good job, you know. I'm sorry. Anyway, I don't know. I just, you know, hope that it's something he would have been proud of.
And that it certainly is. Today, the Camaro travels with him to car shows across the Southeast. For many of the owners at the ABAC Car Show, these vehicles represent far more than engines and chrome. They are a reminder of family, history, and the dedication it takes to keep those memories alive. Reporting from Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College, I'm Daniel Durrance.
Events like this not only showcase incredible vehicles, but also highlight the dedication and leadership of our Collegiate FFA members. If you missed this year's show, be sure to keep an eye out for the next year's event.
Hi, I'm McKenna Nettles with your Market Outlook. Let's have a look at prices and market drivers as of March 4th, 2026. On the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, live and feeder cattle were sharply higher on cash optimism and stronger box beef during the March 4th session. April live cattle closed 4.22 1/4 cent higher at $238.35, and June live cattle closed $4.50 higher at $235.18. April feeder cattle closed $7.45 higher at $360.75, and May feeder cattle closed $7.65 higher at $357. After a nearly 11-cent swing over the session, May soybean futures closed down just 1 cent to $11.69.5, a slight pause for fund and technical selling after a recent rally to 3-month highs. Both nearby and harvest markets show signs of support, as China is still rumored to be looking for supply and options with slow harvest and quality concerns beginning to develop in South America. While new U.S. tariffs go into effect and military action in Iran, a key supplier of oil to China, are both expected to put a damper on U.S.-Chinese trade relations. U.S. grain supplies and the Chinese need for access to sell in the U.S. market makes a trade deal between the two most powerful economies in the world the most logical and likely outcome. Likewise, May corn futures fell 2 3/4 cents to 4.43 3/4 cents on a round of technical and fund selling, but is maintaining support as markets watch potential harvest and delays in both Brazil and Argentina due to expected rains in the forecast. While ethanol producers and supply are flush with corn after a record planted acreage and yield in the 2025 crop year, corn still looks firm as export sales of the 2025 U.S. crop remain healthy and well in front of the 5-year average. That information will be updated by the USDA on March 10th when it releases the March WASDE report at noon Eastern Time. The wheat complex was lower across all 3 exchanges after a round of technical and fund selling, closing down 5 3/4 cents on the Chicago Board of Trade's May futures to 5.68 1/4 cents. The July board settled at 5.77 3/4 cents, down 5 3/4 cents on the day. Although there is a large world supply of wheat, European demand is still strong, due in part to slow shipments out of the Black Sea region amidst continued hostilities between Russia and Ukraine, in addition to military action in Iran, which is also expected to be a damper on shipments coming from the Black Sea. That's your market outlook. Be sure to join us next week for the latest prices and trends. In the paddock, I'm McKenna Nettles.
The Miss ABAC pageant last week brought together students from across campus in a friendly competition, each representing different organizations and clubs. 24 contestants competed for the opportunity to represent ABAC over the upcoming year. Through a combination of interviews, essays, onstage presence, and questions for the top 10 finalists, one student was selected to represent the college. I'm excited to share that this year's Miss ABAC is actually sitting right here at the desk. I'm honored to have been selected as this year's Miss ABAC, and I'm excited for the opportunity to serve and represent ABAC throughout the coming year. That wraps us up for today. Join us back here next week for more Ag and ABAC news. From all of us here at the Paddock, I'm Ashlyn Thompson. Have a great week and G-Haul, y'all.